In the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, certain animals have defied the odds and survived overwhelming obstacles. From extreme climates to treacherous predators, these animals have triumphed in the most extraordinary ways. Join us on a captivating journey as we explore the remarkable stories of animals that have endured and thrived in seemingly impossible conditions. Here are the stories of animals that survived the impossible. These are animals that survived the impossible, and also there are animals saved by people. A bizarre video of a baby cow staggering around upright with no front legs has emerged online. The clip, thought to have been filmed in Indonesia, shows the calf walking around on its hind legs, making it the same height as a child. This disabled animal doesn't appear to be in full control, as it constantly wobbles on its two hooves. Somehow the cow doesn't fall over during the minute-long video. A topless man appears in the video, which is shot in a rural village, and watches the animal attentively. At one point, the calf stumbles over towards him, but he pushes it away. People watching the bizarre video online commented the animal's treatment. Germaine Louise Thomas mentioned that she was so heartbroken. Will no one help? We live in such a selfish world. While Sukari Leishman mentioned to shoot this poor thing and put it out of its misery. Why haven't they made the thing some sling with wheels? Sad Kaylin Mara added. Things looked grim for Dimka, a cat found by a passerby on the side of the road in Novokoskukit in the city of southwestern Siberia. But thanks to some quick and innovative thinking, a team of veterinarians and research from Russia's Tomsk Polytechnic University saved Dimka's life and mobility by amputating the cat's legs and 3D printing titanium replacements. In order to create these prosthetics, the team took CT scans of the cat's legs using X-rays. Then they used the scans to 3D print titanium rods that would become her new legs. Dimka received these new prosthetics in July 2019. The titanium limbs, which were implanted into Dimka's leg bones, were coated with calcium phosphate to help doctors mount them and reduce the risk of infection. According to a paper in the Journal of Biomedical Materials Research, titanium is used as biomaterial in prosthetics because of its compatibility with living tissue. In addition to its antibacterial properties, the calcium phosphate also helps prosthetics adhere to bones and decreases the chance of implant rejection. But Dimka is the second cat in the world to receive a quadruple amputation and prosthetic implants. The other was Rizik, his name meaning ginger or red, who lost all 4 limbs to frostbite. The two cats struck up a friendship as they both live in a veterinary clinic that saved their lives. According to a news release from TPU, in the 7 months since Dimka's surgeries, she leads on a full life, having regained the ability to walk, run, and even make it up and down stairs. A horse named Sunny fell into a ravine and was trapped for nearly 48 hours in California. Firefighters and a vet got the horse freed from the boulders in Temecula, but they couldn't airlift the animal out of the canyon because of windy weather, the Riverside County Fire Department said in 2 tweets. Sunny had minor injuries and could stand. Katie Mailma, the horse's owner, mentioned that the animal became spooked while she was riding him and flipped her off his back. She then had her husband help her find Sunny, who had fallen into a rocky ravine. He's Mailma's world. Mailma slept with him for 2 nights and 3 days to make sure he was safe. After nearly 2 days, rescuers hoisted Sunny from the rocks. She and her husband camped next to the rescue horse and to keep coyotes away, according to a GoFundMe created to pay for the rescue fees. An update on the page mentions the pair won't be charged for the rescue, but funds are needed for medical expenses. The couple also had their Thanksgiving meal next to their animal. Sunny is now back with his owners. There are stories where people are saving animals, starting with one pet survivor story of 9-month-old Tiggy. This strange animal was motionless and not breathing when it was pulled from the machine drum by its devastated owner, Ray Sutton. But after mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on her living room sofa, the cat began breathing again and was rushed to the nearby veterinary practice. On being given an oxygen mask, the cat awoke from its coma and amazingly returned back home just 3 hours after the drama. She saw his mouth drop open and she began to give him mouth-to-mouth, gently, while massaging his stomach. It went on for about 20 minutes. Then all of a sudden, his stomach started going up and down. She went mad and called up John, her husband, and they went to the vet. The black cat, a domestic short-haired breed, is now recovering at home from head injuries, swelling, and bruising. Mrs. Sutton lives with her husband John, 64, and their 7 cats: Tiggy, Socks, Ozzy, Bella, Mitzi, Lucy, and Jessie. All the cats are from rescue homes except Tiggy, who the couple got from their next-door neighbor. Indeed, one of the luckiest animals that survived the impossible. Despite only having 2 legs, this determined goat has taught herself how to walk around and play with her friends. Footage released showed the cute black kid balancing on her 2 front legs and running around with the other animals, stunning her breeder and other villagers. The animal from Yunnan province, southwest China, has been dubbed the strong-willed goat by locals. According to reports, the goat was born in Yunnan's Zipingzidai Autonomous County on December 20, 2015. She was born without any hind legs, however, has taught herself to walk. In the footage, the animal can be seen walking around on her 2 legs, almost looking like she's balancing. She also can be seen eating fresh fruit while still standing, later joined by other goat friends. At one point, the goat runs along the other animals at the farm. According to the staff at the farm, she was able to walk within a week. Local veterinarians speculated that the mother goat may have been injured in the abdomen, possibly during a fight with other goats before the baby was born. Local villagers are fond of the animal, with many often taking photos of the kid or bringing friends and family to come and look at the goat. Copper, a 9-year-old cat, survived a 14-story fall from her owner's New York City apartment building. When Angela Lang and her family moved into the Upper West Side apartment last month, they didn't think Copper would be able to slip out of the building through the windows, which don't open very wide. As it turns out, they were wrong. Somehow, the feisty feline managed to slip out on the ledge, where she fell 14 stories to the street below. The Langs mentioned that they hurried to the cat to a local veterinary hospital, but amazingly, their tenacious pet not only survived the death-defying plunge, but managed to limp away with only a fractured foot. While the phrase raining cats and dogs might be hyperbole, animal experts say that free-falling behavior, for cats at least, is rather common. Cats are especially prone to falling out of windows as they chase birds and insects, a phenomenon the organization calls high-rise syndrome. In the summer months when windows are left open, veterinarians at the Berg Memorial Animal Hospital in New York mention they sometimes see up to 5 cases a week, according to the ASPCA website. The group also mentions cats who receive medical attention immediately have a 90% chance of surviving a fall. Daniel, the Beagle at a Florence Animal Control Center, was one of 8 finalists for Top Dog in the American Humane Association's American Hero Dog Awards. He won in the Emerging Hero category for ordinary dogs who do extraordinary things, the association announced. The overall winner, who accepted the honor in a ceremony at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on October 6th, was Gabe, a military working dog who completed more than 200 combat missions in Iraq with 26 explosives and weapons finds to his credit. Gabe shared the honor with his handler, Sergeant First Class Charles Shuck. Daniel, the Alabama Beagle, was to be euthanized on October 3, 2011 at the Florence Pound, but emerged frightened and unscathed from the chamber that is filled with carbon monoxide to put animals down. Several other dogs in the chamber were not as lucky. Daniel, named after the biblical figure who survived the lion's den, was adopted by Joe Dwyer of Nutley, New Jersey, where he lives with Dwyer's family of 4 other dogs. This animal's surviving story is about one of the strangest animals of the world. A most amazing deer was recovered in the Everett Springs community after it sustained injuries from 2 dogs. Melissa and Alan Dunnigan were out walking when their dogs chased the fawn, separating it from its mother. It wasn't until after they put the dogs back in the house and were about to release the fawn that they realized it had 6 legs. It received minor injuries from the dogs, but is now recovering at West Rome Animal Clinic and doing quite well. Because of the injuries the fawn received, one of its 2 tails was amputated. X-rays show this weird animal has 2 distinct pelvises. To walk, the fawn uses 1 leg from each pelvis. Somehow it has a fairly normal gait, although the center legs seem to get in the way, according to Pate. Ted Touchstone, an employee at the Department of Natural Resources for 34 years, mentioned he has never seen anything like the fawn. He, along with Gallagher, decided to bring the fawn in for medical treatment. A 6-legged calf has defied the odds by thriving despite a vet's prediction at birth that it would not survive. But this baby animal's trying to survive at its best. 7-week-old Lily is a minor celebrity in her native Switzerland after local media were splashed with images of the calf frolicking in a sunny field. Farmer Andreas Nuti from Weisberg, 19 miles south of the capital Bern, mentions he couldn't bring himself to euthanize the animal because she was so full of life. He also mentioned that a curve in her spine means that Lily may never become a normal milk cow. If the calf stays healthy, she will still be allowed to join the others when they head for alpine pastures this summer. Roger was rescued as an orphan joey. He was trapped inside his dead mother's pouch when a man named Chris Barnes discovered him and decided to found a kangaroo sanctuary. Roger grew up to be the alpha male of the community, and as the internet noted in sometimes uncomfortable awe, what an alpha male he was. The kangaroo stood 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighed nearly 200 pounds according to the sanctuary. Every now and again, photos of him would make the rounds online, inspiring and some admiring words. Muscle-bound, super buff, massive cake. He grew up to be a kangaroo that people from all over the world have grown to love as much as we love him too, Barnes, who also goes by the name Brogla, mentioned in a video post on Facebook. Those muscles aren't just for looks. Roger was a ferocious fighter. Barnes, the man who found the kangaroo sanctuary after he found Roger as a tiny joey, has the scars to prove it. To be clear, Roger is not the only brawny kangaroo in Australia. Red kangaroos are the largest living marsupials in the world. Males box to establish dominance. Only the alpha male mates with the females of the group, called a mob. Boxing abilities, therefore, are a useful skill for the male red kangaroo, and a physique like Roger's is a possible result. In recent months, the Kangaroo Sanctuary described Roger as retired, a reference to the fact that he no longer is the alpha male there. Finally, Roger, a buff red kangaroo who made his home at a sanctuary in Australia but achieved renown worldwide for his impressive musculature, has died at the age of 12. Booty arrived at the International Animal Rescue Center in Indonesia, bloated and with his limbs severely swollen and bent due to spending the first 10 months of his life locked up in a chicken coop without any food. He was in a dismal state, constantly in pain and barely able to move, prompting the international community to donate funds to help support Booty's rehabilitation. 3 years later after the incident, he's done just that, having been nursed back to health and ready to climb and swing from trees with the other orangutans staying at the rescue center in Ketapang. It was touch and go whether Buddy would survive. Vets made him as comfortable as possible with medication to try to relieve his suffering. He is suffering from severe anemia, and months of malnutrition have left his joints swollen and badly deformed. He was being treated for a serious metabolic disease that may have caused permanent damage to his bones. According to IAR, Booty now stays out of the forest 24 hours a day and is slowly learning to survive on his own. He can most notably build his own nest and continues to get along with the 18 other orangutans who are there, despite having arrived at the center so terrified. A bird of prey went on the flight of his life after getting trapped in the grill of a pickup truck and traveling at speeds of up to 70 miles an hour. Andy Somerville from Texas was driving home when he saw a flash in front of him and felt a bump on the front of his vehicle. However, he assumed he'd hit something and it had bounced off and he didn't think more of it. But the next morning on further inspection, he discovered that a red-tailed hawk had gotten lodged in his bumper. Miraculously, the animal was still alive. Somerville immediately called the Wildlife Center of Texas, which came out to rescue the animal. Photographs of the trapped hawk show it hanging out of its grill by its wings. Bird's body was in the engine compartment, and he was just freaking out when he found it. He mentioned he could imagine anything surviving the collision as he was doing about 70 miles an hour at the time. Just over a week later, vets say the hawk is on the road to recovery. He didn't sustain any broken bones and has slight bruising from where he'd been hanging. Red-tailed hawks can live up to 21 years in the wild with a maximum wingspan of around 1.4 meters. An adaptation is a way an animal's body helps it survive or live in its environment. Now, this animal can adapt to the environment at its best. Tardigrades, also known as water bears and moss piglets, are small animals found in many different environments on land and sea. One animal fact about them is that this animal can survive in extreme conditions, including very low temperatures, high levels of radiation, and exposure to chemicals that are harmful to other forms of life. Tardigrades have even been found to survive the harsh conditions of outer space. X-rays are a type of radiation naturally produced by lightning strikes that are also found in cosmic rays from outer space. High doses of X-rays can cause genetic mutations that can lead to serious illness or death. This is because when X-rays come into contact with water, they split the water molecules to make particles known as hydroxyl radicals, which in turn damage the DNA inside cells. The new findings of tardigrade DSUP may help researchers develop animal cells that can live longer under normal or extreme environmental conditions. In this manner, DSUP could be used to expand the range of application of cells in biotechnology. It could also increase the effectiveness of current methods, such as the production of some pharmaceuticals that depend on the use of cultured cells. This survival story is about one incredible animal that survived the impossible. A young male lion caught in a snare that slowly tightened around his neck as he grew older has been saved after a rescue operation was launched. The lion was first spotted trapped in the snare in Mikumi National Park in Tanzania back in 2009, but several attempts to rescue him failed. After 3 years, the cord had become so tightly wrapped around the lion's neck that he was left unable to hunt and was gaping wound attracting flies and infection. The young animal would soon have been lying in agony in the African bush facing certain death. The lion was found by park rangers and vets managed to sedate him and cut away the electrical wire snare. The lion has now been photographed in the wild for the first time since his ordeal and appears to be recovering with his mane growing back over his neck and shoulders. The rescue ended a 3-year hell for the lion. As he has grown over the last 3 years, the wire snare got tighter and tighter around his neck and began causing a slow, agonizing death. At first glance, you may believe that this camel is enduring the harshest conditions compared to any other animal. Surviving without a head is an incredibly daunting task. Photographer Sanjeev Niwahan from Shangiri, India, was watching a herd of camels while visiting the Jaisalmer Desert with his family. A perfectly timed optical illusion photo shows the camel standing still while his head was turned the other way. Sanjeev mentioned he saw a herd of camels crossing the road. It wasn't a sight he couldn't resist clicking. Stopped and went towards the herd, and suddenly in a distance he saw this camel with his head turned around, which looked like a headless camel. He had around 5 seconds to get the photo before he pulled up his head again. Although it may seem impossible for any creature to survive without a head, there exists an extraordinary story of a chicken named Mike, who defied all expectations. Mike the headless chicken, also known as Miracle Mike, achieved an astonishing feat that left scientists and onlookers baffled. On September 10, 1945, in Fruita, Colorado, a farmer named Lloyd Olson set out to prepare a chicken dinner. He aimed to make the process as humane as possible by beheading the chicken swiftly. However, to everyone's astonishment, the chicken named Mike did not succumb to his untimely demise. Remarkably, the axe had missed Mike's jugular vein, leaving his brainstem intact. To everyone's disbelief, Mike continued to live and even attempted to peck. It appeared that this headless chicken had found a way to survive. To ensure Mike's survival, his owner fed him with a dropper directly into his esophagus and provided him with water in the same manner. Astonishingly, Mike managed to live for 18 months without a head. However, his life came to an end when he choked on a kernel of corn during one of his feeding sessions. News of this extraordinary phenomenon spread rapidly, and Mike became a local and national sensation. People from all around flocked to witness the chicken that defied nature's laws. He was featured in Time and Life magazines and appeared in sideshows and circuses. A giraffe with a broken neck has proved its survival instinct after surviving for 5 years with a zigzag spine. This unbelievable animal was discovered by photographer Mark Drysdale whilst in the Serengeti on safari. A guide explained that the giraffe had survived the horrific accident without any medical attention, only to be left with a wonky neck. Mark, who has been a full-time professional wildlife photographer and guide for 8 years, said, "I've never seen anything like it." But the other animals treated it as if it were completely normal, and the giraffe seemed to be quite happy. Male giraffes sometimes fight each other in vicious battles for the attention of females. They stand side by side, pushing each other to prove who is strongest. But if they break their necks, they normally die. The Maasai giraffe is the tallest species of giraffe, and males can measure up to 19 feet, making them the tallest animal on the planet. The animal had broke its neck whilst fighting 5 to 6 years war and had remained in the area, where there are no full conservation centers or vets ever since. Although males generally take food from higher up trees than females by stretching to their full length, this guy was unable to do that. He just ate the lower levels where there was more than enough food available. Indeed, this is one lucky animal moment. A turtle owner has been left flabbergasted after their pet was born with 2 heads. The pet, which does not yet have a name, is around 4 centimeters long and has just celebrated its 6th-month birthday. The reptile is said to be doing well, with both its heads moving separately from each other. The 2-headed turtle is also eating normally, its 4 eyes seemingly aware of everything that is happening. Despite the turtle's oddness, owner Gio Armansari mentioned he still expects him to live a normal life with the red-eared slider available to reach 40 years old. According to photographer Tanto, it was amazing to see such phenomena. His 6-month-old and red-eared slider can live up to 30 to 40 years of age, which is fully expected for this guy. He eats normally and functions like any other turtle. His eyes and both heads can all move separately. It was very odd to see. It's the first time anybody has been able to see him, but it was amazing, Mr. Jensen of Jakarta, Indonesia added. An injured bird is always difficult to see. Dragging wings, broken legs, it's just so distressing to see these injured earthbound creatures, knowing they long to soar in the sky. When Beauty the bald eagle was injured, though, it wasn't her wing or leg that took the blow. Instead, a poacher's bullet cost her most of her upper beak, a devastating injury that left her unable to eat or drink. It would have meant certain death, but Beauty's life took a fortunate turn. But first, do us a favor. Click that like button to inspire us. Subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell, and you won't miss any interesting videos. Done then? Let's go. Jane came to Beauty's rescue after the injured bald eagle was found trying to scavenge at a local dump. Jane, a certified wildlife rehabber and raptor biologist, brought Beauty to the Birds of Prey Northwest, a rehab facility in Idaho. There, she set out to find a way to help Beauty when everyone else thought the odds were unbearable. Birds' beaks can regenerate, but only over long periods of time. Jane knew that for Beauty to survive, she needed a more urgent solution. The answer turned out to be technology. With the help of a team that included her own dentist, Jane oversaw the design and fitting of a prosthetic beak made with a 3D printer. Within hours of the procedure, Beauty was drinking water like any other bald eagle, scooping it up from her dish. Over the years since her prosthesis was fitted in 2008, Beauty's own beak has continued to regenerate. The original prosthesis no longer fits, but her beak is now large and sturdy enough to allow her to eat on her own. She still lives at the Birds of Prey Northwest, where she enjoys her own large aviary. Moshe, an Asian elephant who lost her right foreleg from a landmine explosion, is the world's first recipient of an elephant prosthesis. Another reason to love technology is that it can be used to help animals that have missing limbs become mobile again. That is just what happened in the case of the elephant that needed a prosthetic leg. Moshe, then 2.5 years old, was spotted by Thurshi Jacobe, a surgeon who designs prosthetic legs for humans and other animals through the Friends of the Asian Elephant Foundation in Thailand. When he saw Moshe, he noticed that he had kept raising her trunk in the air in order to walk properly. He decided to take the challenge of making a prosthetic leg for Moshe. Despite design and biomechanic problems along the way, the doctor was able to make a 15-kilogram leg made of thermoplastic, steel, and elastomer. In the past couple of years, Moshe has gone through 9 prosthetic forelegs that can cope with her increasingly weight and size. The doctor is still in pursuit of a perfect prosthetic with materials that are more durable and resistant to wear. Which one of the stories touched your heart? Do you know any story like this? Let us know in the comments. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comment section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take care of yourself.